There's a legend of a country situated between China and India, and it is said it could probably take on both giants with one hand behind its back and a kukri in its hand. Ayo the Gurkhali. Here comes the Gurkhas. Gurkhas were one or dozen more martial races found to reside in British India by the colonial Indian Army. The creation of the unified Indian Army from the two presidency armies in 1902 were prestiged by the construct of the official etiologies of castes, ethnicities and religions liable for military service. Various handbooks for the Indian Army help military recruiters to identify the right type of recruit, those who had the physical courage necessary for the warrior, as opposed to the majority of Indians who had neither moral aptitude or physical courage. The courage we should talk of as colloquially as guts. The handbook and their associated literature did not just divide South Asia between martial Indians and non-martial, they divided those currently fit for recruitment from those who were previously and so hinted as the more sufficiently martial race in the future. The idea of the Gurkha evolved through the process of intexting fantasies of colonial masculinity. Gurkhas were defined against the perceived vices belittling the old imperial heartland, which had proven itself disloyal during the mutiny of 1857. In keeping with newly discovered martial races in the late 19th century and the early 20th century, Gurkhas were situated at the periphery of British India, reported to live or have familiar connections to the Gurkha district in central Nepal, where they knew little or cared less about the political changes and evolution of Indian nationalism. The cool and bracing climate of Nepal made Gurkhas physically far superior to their neighbours of Bengal. They were celebrated for their Protestant Hinduism and their concept of the orthodox Badam Baniers, and fashioned as Englishmen in a miniature with lurid descriptions of muscular physique and their delight in many sports, shooting and fishing, putting the shot, playing croquet and football. But each confident assertion of a Gurkha character, demeanour or geographical or racial origins were haunted by the note of uncertainty. Parts of the work are undoubtedly incomplete or perhaps in part incorrect. These large generalizations are vague and patronizing. It is impossible to give an idea of the Gurkha by such means. Numerous communities in Nepalis have no connection to the Gurkha district or even central Nepal. Yet they were not even recognized as Gurkhas, including the Gurkhalis, who are not even Nepali. Descriptions of the racial origins and features of Gurkha vary from Mongoloid to Caucasian and even Indo-Tibetan. The only constant was being that they were all very strong, broad-headed and tit-skulled. But there are many more ethnicities within the Himalayan mountains, such as the Aboriginal Mongoras, Gorans, Kambos, Limbos, and the highly casted Rajput Tadkurs. The reason for this confusion is that the Gurkhas were and will always be a fiction. In Nepal, no group has ever referred to itself or even referred to by other Nepalis as Gurkhas. The term for Nepali soldiers serving in a foreign army is the vernacular corruption of Luhur, which is referred to the pre-colonial South Asian labour markets by the Nepalis to secure service to the Lahore courts of the Raj Singh Empire of Punjab. Increasing rural landlessness in 19th century Nepal proved to be the incentive to enlist in the Indian Army and migrate to timber and tea plantations in Bengal, Assam and Burma. Yet even so, the numbers of Nepalis recruited into the Indian Army remained modest until the 1940s. During the First World War, for instance, 55,589 Nepalis were recruited to replace and bolster the pre-war figures of 17,000 Gurkhas, recruited into 32 battalions of Gurkha Rifles and 4 battalions of the 17th Burma Rifles. Although the figures were significant, they were by no means extravagant when compared to other colonial armies or even other martial classes recruited by the Indian Army. Yet the First World War had played a crucial part in authenticating the fiction of what Gurkhas were and further obscuring the reality. The conflict had been reimagined as a space where the Gurkhas were the largest recruited martial race, in which the image of savage, relentless Gurkhas was packaged and sold to the imperial inferior of the day. Also, there was a large number that served in France, Turkey, Palestine and Mesopotamia. They served in the battlefields of France at Loos, Givenchy, Neuve-Chapelle, in Belgium at the Battle of Ypres, even in Mesopotamia, Persia and the Suez Canal, and even against the Palestine campaign against the Turkish advance, Gallipoli as well, and also Salonika. One detachment actually served with Florence of Arabia, while during the Battle of Loos from June to December 1915, a battalion of the 8th Gurkhas fought to the last man, hurling themselves time and time again against the weight of the German defences. In the words of Indian Corps Commander Lieutenant General Sir James Wilcox, found itself Valhalla. During the ultimately unsuccessful Gallipoli campaign in 1915, the Gurkhas were among the first to arrive and the last to leave. The 1st and the 6th Gurkhas, having landed at Cape Helles, led to the assault during the first major operation to take out Turkish high points, and in doing so captured the feature later to become known as Gurkha Buffalo. At Siribir, they were the only troops of the whole campaign to reach and hold the crest line and look down the straits. which was the ultimate objective. The 2nd Battalion of the 3rd Gurkha Rifles, the 2nd and 3rd Gurkha Rifles, were involved in the conquest of Baghdad. This obscures the political, economical, and cultural realities through which the Nepali soldiers actually lived. Chanda Sharmasha, the Rana, or the Prime Minister of Nepal, actively sent enslaved prisoners to fulfill British quotas. Slavery was actually abolished in Nepal in 1925. As Mary Deschaniste had shown, village headmen and landlords would often send the poorest and most in-debt villagers into the army in order to demonstrate their loyalty to the regime of Nepal. And of course, their legend lives on, especially in World War II. But of course, I want to leave you with this one quote from a Nepali soldier that came back from war. And this is what he had to say. What did the young men know? Nothing. We saw lots of rupees in their pockets and their nice warm sweaters. They told us we would eat rice every day, see new places. What do we know about the war? Nothing. The recruiters do not talk about the war, only the pensions and the food and clothing. They were very clever. Jamiana Mishuma ki Tarataka, Kari Karana, Hamele el Bukarina Ruko, Jamana Unkara Rama Yesifa Servicia, Mi Deria Rumpaja un Derke Yuma. Ariekal Huma Almite Kadira Dina Kalvala Ke Yama Saldumaru Halhiza Hos. Yarmar Yodur Kaduko Bermia Ki Tayaka Kayitka Bermumaru Halatia Yurekura Barmia Kalvala Panisha Ra Kalhala Ir Karbusha Karmila Karu Garande Honomali Yuruda Korura Barmia Kavala Pashinia Ra Kaninia Ra Kobiteko Beresida Kurt Guardian Tamahula Derani Kalaka Ti Jaba Kamaliti Javania Humalachia Re Sabama Arpano Armana Ebuba Sina Barakirio Ka Ki Tapa I Vista Des Jana Jeni Palusiorko Ber Tachaka Keni Kana. When you are young and you have always been with your mother and father, what do you know of the suffering of going to a foreign country? Nothing. And that is the story of Nepal. Very dark indeed. Heroism mixed with the regime of Nepal. What a downer indeed. But I hope you enjoyed something. Hope you learned something about the fiction of the Gurkha. And I hope the cookery is pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, kind of a downer. But it is war. Modern war, of course. And nothing would get better from World War I on.